Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Appreciate you greatly. Thank you for listening live or listening in the replay. Always appreciate you all for listening. It's always a great pleasure, and just really appreciate you all tuning in, all the feedback. I have a ton of people that email us. The email, if you all want to just go ahead and know, I know we don't say it too often throughout the episode, so we want to say it more, which is christian@trustchristian.com. If you all want to reach out via email, via consultation, which is christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, we just want to thank you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. We're going to do some quick announcements real quick, and hopefully I can pull up which is an actual article for you all, and maybe you all can hear it, which is a clip that I want you all to hear. So really excited about that. So today we're just going to go ahead into it. The changes, wanted to let you all know that if you all want to click on the website and look at past episodes, you all can go to welcometothevault.com as well. Starting some updates on the website, and going to be doing a blog post, so you all can be looking out for that. And you all once again can go to welcometothevault.com for the email list, or you all going to look at past episodes. And as well, we have a survey there. So this is something I want to announce early in the episode as well. We have a ton of people, and we want to cater towards the audience here, so you all could do us a big one with going and filling out the survey on the website. That would be greatly appreciated. So go to welcometothevault.com. Everything spelled out, welcome to thevault.com, and we just greatly appreciate you all filling out the survey, which is greatly appreciated, because it's going to let us know if we should keep doing it at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Tuesdays, or if we should switch it. And so that's something that we really want to get some good feedback on. Or there may be better days. So I know there's a ton of listeners that, even if you're not listening live, we would prefer to cater to everyone, or more of a mass population of the audience that's listening. So if you are even listening to this in a replay, if you could just go to the website, welcometothevault.com, and fill out that survey, which is a 2-question survey, the day and the time. That will be really preferred. We really want to do some crowdsourcing for information and see what exactly the time frames could be possibly better and things of that nature. So thank you all for tuning in live, listening, replay. Appreciate you, Bomo, B. Alexandria Louisville. I'm doing my best right now to actually cue this up for you all. And so I know some people ask questions about what we're going to talk about, but tonight's episode is called Confessions of a Trustee. And I just want to play a clip for you all. And this is the Confessions of a Trustee. What you're getting ready to hear, ladies and gentlemen, is a conversation between trustees. Okay? Let's make that clear. There's a conversation between trustees. This is a public conversation, but it's between private people. Now, you say, what makes a person private? Everybody comes to the vault. They ask the question, what makes a person private? It means without the government. So now, let me preface this. I actually have to preface this actual clip. So, we're prefacing it to the point of, ladies and gentlemen, if you're running for public office, you have to release your records if you are doing public business, period. If you're doing private business, you can see some records aren't given. So, how are the records not given? Well, let's hear. I'm queuing this up, ladies and gentlemen. This is like doing a little buffer here for a second, but
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. As soon as she releases them, I will release I will release my tax returns.
So you've got to ask yourself, why won't he release his tax returns? And I think there may be a couple of reasons.
He's private.
Maybe he's not as rich as he says he is.
He's private.
Second, maybe he's not as charitable as he claims to be.
He has a foundation.
Third, we don't know all business dealings, but we have been told through investigative reporting that he owes about $650 million to Wall Street and foreign banks.
Speculation.
Or maybe he doesn't want the American people, all of you watching tonight, to know that he's paid nothing in federal taxes, because the only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed
a public
he didn't
thing.
pay any federal income tax. So
that makes
if
me
he's
smart.
paid zero,
Makes him smart.
that means zero for troops, zero for vets, zero for schools or health.
There we go. I think that was enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, I played that clip to share with you how when you're in a public office, there is to be a releasing of the records. Now, when people say, I want to go private, going private is where, did he have any records to show? They don't even know what years were filed. They don't even know anything. When I say they, it was the opposing party and what you call the opposing party. It's not the opposing party. She set up the same exact way. This is a Clinton Foundation. They're in trust. They've been in blind trust. She had to be in blind trust. They were in politics. So, Confessions of a Trustee. And that was a public confession, ladies and gentlemen. Do you hear how he said it? That makes me smart. He didn't do the thing that some people could say, well, he could have attacked her. He didn't attack. Said it makes me smart. She's doing the same exact thing though. He didn't say, well, she's doing the same exact thing. But if you go back, you look at some of those debates or conversations between those two parties, you'll clearly see the individuals that he meant. He actually, there's moments in this conversation or in conversations that they had where he mentions, well, the people that are funding you, they use the same brakes that I use. Gentlemen, there is ladies and gentlemen, there is a difference between public and private. That's why sometimes, and in his case, he shared there were no returns to show. So if you all want to know, there's an episode on The Vault, and it's called, I believe it's How to Make $1 and still have mansions and private jets. This is the way they do it. This is the way it's being done. This is the way it's being done, ladies and gentlemen. When you all hear about a private company, clearly he showed you that he was private. Ladies and gentlemen, public positions have to disclose their records. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all can see, it's not that the private place doesn't have records or doesn't show records, but as you can see, he said he against his lawyers and release them. Do you hear the terms that were used? He's gonna release the records. That means he has full control. He doesn't own them, but he has control. Ladies and gentlemen, probably here one of the he's probably one of the premier contract guys out there. He's showing it and displaying it for sure. He displayed that for sure in the career of the way he even went about the campaign, and particularly when we all talk about, once again, consistently that party coming up with individuals that are saying, well, our records don't have to be disclosed, or they're being slighted. Or they're being slighted, and they're being, I guess you disrespected sometimes. I'm actually looking at comments. I got distracted here for a second. Yeah, so as we continue, confessions of a trustee. Wow, let's just go straight into it. The trustee lifestyle demands a sacrifice. It demands a sacrifice that you let go of your ego, you let go of your thought process of public education. And wow, is that so counterintuitive to what a person is going to have to really dig deep and get and change their mindset for? A complete adoption of own nothing, control everything, focused on successorship, focused on second generation for sure, every time, second, third generation. So it's a complete sacrifice of self for a generation, particularly if you don't have wealth in the first generation right now, or the generation that is looking to come to trustee training at the vault. When you come to trustee training at the vault, this is what we talk about. We talk about what we're talking about: successor trusteeship. We're talking about, everybody contacts the vault and they talk about the beneficiary. Who's going to be the beneficiary? I sit in front of entrepreneurs all the time. So how do I keep making money? The whole goal is to own nothing, control everything. So why do you keep talking about taking a salary? Because you're public. That's why. What about my children? I'm going to put my children in the beneficiary position. Beneficiaries, I mean, why are you putting anything that takes an income or a benefit can be taxable? Sometimes when you come to trust, you'll see some people say, oh, well, the beneficiaries own the assets, or the trustees own the assets. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a confession that the trust owns the assets. Now, there's a lot of individuals out here, such as lawyers and accountants, and I love talking to them. And once again, a trust is a person. So if the trust is in a position where it is a separate, distinct legal person, the trust owns the assets. And that's something that you have to be able to ask a lawyer, and possibly, hey, let's talk about, what type of trusts are out there. There's over 80 different types of trust. Private mentorship is how you learn trusteeship. You don't learn it from Google. You're not going to get it from the internet. It's private. The internet is called www, World Wide Web. It's the public domain. That's why they call it a public domain. And so here we go. We go back to a clear distinction between public and private. What's private? It's not on the internet. Oh, wow. Is it really just that simple? Yes. Guess what? All the companies you deal with on the internet, for the most part, they're going to have some type of disclosure agreement, especially if you're joining communities and all these different things they got going on nowadays. Government's still in the infancy in the internet laws. There's different businesses coming out on the internet all the time, and internet regulation is only increasing. You want to go to school for something, how about go to school for internet law? Because the laws for the internet are only going to keep growing. Those are beneficial things. But trusteeship is all about, here's a great lesson recently was, you get in a trust is to protect, preserve, grow, and pass on the wealth. And you get in immediately and you do the first thing. Everybody if you come from an employee mindset, if you come from a public mindset, you're sitting there and you're coming to a henpecked position. You're going to sit on your golden egg. The greatest asset is yourself. You're going to sit on yourself. The first job of the trustee, they always say, is to protect. All right, well, the entity is protecting. So you're the trustee. and you're growing the assets. Well, what is the position we went into? Preserve. What assets do you have on the books? What assets are you preserving? Going through that one, and then getting to the point where you have to grow it. Your fiduciary obligation in the contract is to grow it. Always ask people, have you read your contract? It's vitally important to read it. As a trustee, see individuals all the time, trustees, they haven't read their documents that they're trustees of. I'm gonna tell you all, there's public trusteeship and there's private trusteeship. Public trusteeship is someone sitting at a club the other day, literally says, I'm on the board of trustees for this club. You want me to repeat that, ladies and gentlemen? Here we go. This is the public. I'm on the board of trustees for a club. I'm on the board of trustees for his college. Okay. So there's a trust, right? Yeah. There's an entity created called a trust because you're a trustee. You're not a trustee of a corporation. You're a trustee of a trust. Okay, that's great. You're a trustee of a club. Something that you're not truly fiduciarily growing. You're just on the board of trustees. Okay. So how is that different than you managing entities or trust or persons, because that's what they're called, managing a person, and you doing that from a private position, a private trusteeship? An individual says, I don't know if I can do that. I'm gonna hand it off to my financial advisor. I like doing this public thing. I'm a public, because they're like a public CEO. They're a CEO of a public company. So they prefer to be the public CEO of a company and maybe a couple other companies. They're doing some VC work. But guess what? That's public entities. It's public entities. It's a corporation, but they say, okay, how do I become private? Own nothing, control everything. Very powerful position to be in. So, public trusteeship, private trusteeship. It's interesting that once you go private, you're not on Forbes anymore. Whoa, doesn't that dampen your dreams? You're not going to Forbes because you're not going to own anything. The Rothschilds aren't on Forbes. The Rockefellers aren't on Forbes. That's like asking you, do you think the Rockefellers are broke? They're really not. That's like asking you, do you think the Carnegies are broke? You can kind of do your research. You can see, I've talked to numerous people, ladies and gentlemen. Numerous people. And they tell me that some part of their school has an endowment from the Carnegie Foundation. Now, the Carnegie Foundation is one of the largest foundations in the United States. So, they're not doing bad. When we say Carnegie Foundation, once again, it's like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's like the Bill Clinton and Bill and Hillary Clinton Foundation. It's like the Donald Trump Foundation. It's just the Carnegies, they've been around for 100 years since they started that foundation. They obviously have a lot more years, and they've actually acquired assets and grew the foundation from charity. Confessions of a Trustee. I have more of a charitable heart. We have more of a charitable heart. Then that's what it is. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, a trust is a secret. It's a part of the definition. Ladies and gentlemen, the trust is a secret. It's a part of the definition. So now we know that it's private. But then there's public trust. So it's public trust, private trust. These are things that we can talk about. Everybody's made aware of this when you go talk to your lawyers, right? Professions of a trustee. There's competition to the vault. We won't name our competition. But the competition are for large private family trust that are training trustees of those trusts for $100 million minimum. Trustees can't walk in a room unless they have $100 million. I don't think that I don't think that that company is doing one of them. And so it's like they're advertised on the internet. What do they do? But they don't advertise the way me and you or when people say they're going to start smaller businesses and things of that nature advertise. They just have a website and they have a training different times of the year, but they weed out people. You know, they contact you and they'll let you know if you don't have $100 million under your control as assets under management. Even want to talk to the family off. They don't want to talk to the family. That's just the bottom line. And so when you really think about that, the trustee training, there's no body under that. There's no one doing the training of the trustees. And so when you say a consulting firm doing the training, there's not anyone that I know to the vault other than the vault. But when you get to who's really training trustees on the public side, the banks are. The banks train public trustees. That's why the banks traditionally are institutional trustees and things of that nature. They're institutional trustees for the actual trust. So you'll hear that a lot. You all can go to a bank and they'll tell you, you know, there's a wealth division, and you all can go there and they'll give you, you know, the bank even will provide sometimes, I think, even documents. They kind of, you got to talk to them, but they definitely are there to serve as a trustee of trust. So what's a private trustee? You being in control. Own nothing, control everything. That's all. That's the private. The public is what? Is the bank being a trustee of your assets. So I'm going to share with you all how it's reversed. How the bank is a trustee of your life. Bank is a trustee because they're holding your money. What is considered to be your money. And by that being the case, they're a trustee of it. Why? Because they're the custodial of that asset. And so you think about it, who's the custodian of most of your money? 60% of the portfolio. You know, who's responsible party for that at that point? And that's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about how you're going to grow and pass on, protect, and you know, all that good stuff. Because you think about it, first you protect, then you preserve. That's the first thing, is preserving it. Whatever assets you're given as a trustee, you got to preserve. Some people say, well, how do I start out funding a trust? Does the trust have to be funded from the beginning? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are the trustee. Your job, I gotta say all four, so you can know that there's never a point that one's more important than the other and you neglect any. So they all get the same love and tender care. Protect, preserve, grow, and pass the wealth on. So yes, there is a point where you're to mentally think, I am to grow the assets. Now, there's many ways. You can do it physically, or you could do it mentally. You can mentally go talk to other people and get them to do the work and grow the assets, or you have to do it yourself. Either way, there's mental work or there's actual physical manual labor. And Ladies and gentlemen, that's how wealth is built. It requires some level of work. So, as you all can see, this is a very important point to grow the assets. Thinking about ways to grow the assets. It's a beneficial mindset to always think progressively on how to grow the assets as a fiduciary. So a confession is you have to learn fiduciary law. You definitely want to be encouraged to learn fiduciary law because it puts you in a position where you understand that you're a fiduciary. Go in the law library and learn what fiduciary law is. One of the dictionaries that govern financial terms is barons, B-A-R-R-O-N-S, barons. So a lot of times you have barons. So that's very important, ladies and gentlemen, is to know that there's some reading involved. There's a new terminology that needs to be acquired. I know I've been going back and forth to mentorship. Mentorship is superior in this environment. I was talking to someone today. I said the people that ask the questions, they're the ones that have something to protect. They have something to gain because they're asking questions. The ones that don't have questions, it's new information to them. Even in the private environment, there's always questions. Always. So I appreciate you all asking questions. If you all want to ask questions in the chat, that's thanks, Cassandra, for tuning in live. Gustavo. Thanks, Gustavo. Jordan Tia. Does going private happen instantly or over a period of time? It happens when you specifically own nothing, control everything. My friends connected with you. Nabar exists. Okay. Really? Yeah, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Thanks, Levi, for tuning in live. I appreciate you all. I don't really see too many questions in the chat, related to the topic. I know that it was more of a mindset tonight, the confessions, to just let you all know that there's people sit in front of trustees and they say, what's the downside? Is that you're not living for your name anymore. You're not living for yourself anymore. You're living for the next generation. I can see that that's the downfall. A lot of people say, why is it that some people don't make it? It's because the people that are focused on even their own children, it's like, a lot of people have felt like they've missed the mark with their own children. So they're planning for the next generation now, which is the grandchildren or the second gen, and when you get there, they're still in a phase of having to do all three things. There's so many skill sets you have to develop as a trustee, and that takes a whole reprogramming and relearning. Thank you, Bomo. Appreciate you as well. I don't see any other questions in the chat, so I thank you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. I'm going to let you all know that I'm just going to do some of the news that I know we usually do news on the front end, but just to let you all know, I'm looking for some good news with this Bitcoin stuff, ladies and gentlemen, because the cryptocurrencies are definitely
making a statement right now. Here we go. XRP, the world's third largest coin by market capitalization, according to CoinMarketCap, is ranked A. Now, who knows what makes them specifically, you know, ranked, and we'll bypass that speculation. And per report is the best positioned. Here we go. Critical economic statement. Per the report, is the best position to compete with SWIFT, a global system for interbank transactions. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely very familiar with SWIFT if you all are individuals or you know, people in general that have dealt with sending transactions internationally and through banks. Then you all know that that is a straight competitive move. So different. It's something you want to look into. Very important. Bank of America tech chief is skeptical on blockchain even though Bank of America has the most patents for it. Here we go. Really? Ladies and gentlemen, did you know Bank of America was invested in what even the chief was so-called skeptical of? So, in my private scorecard, in my closet, I'm bearish, she says. Do you hear what she said? She said in her private scorecard, she says she's bearish. Her public job makes her say, well, you know, it's okay, the company's investing in it. You hear? Okay. Still, the bank has 82 blockchain related patents, more than any other financial firm, including payment companies, MasterCard, and PayPal. I think that's all I need to read. If you all want to Google that one. Bank of America tech chief is skeptical on blockchain even though BOA has the most patents. We got another point of talking about this guy, but he went from being homeless to making over $100 million. So yeah, I guess that makes it important. All right, here we go. There's a museum. Oh, there's a museum. Okay, so there's a museum that is in what country here? It's in New York. The Guggenheim Museum. Alrighty, the Guggenheim. There we go. So there's a family that wants to give an endowment. The Sackler family. S-A-C-K-L-E-R. You all can Google it. S-A-C-K-L-E-R. Sackler family. They were looking to give the museum $1.3 million. But the museum said no. Now they previously have given $9 million between 1995 and 2015. But because the Sackler family is associated with Big Pharma, they're saying that they're not trying to accept their philanthropy. So they're holding $9 million still, ladies and gentlemen. Investing and making money back to the Sackler family. It's almost like, is this a conflict of interest? But the conflict of interest comes from the pharmaceutical interests that have been linked to the opioid crisis. And this college is saying, hey, we don't want to, oh, excuse me, not a college, I'm so sorry. It is a museum. And then there was another, Britain's National Portrait Gallery, also turned down $1.3 million from the London-based Sackler Trust. So it was just an interesting article. You all can research this, but it's really interesting to see how, when you come into the private side and you see how money is being even shunned and delegated from the position of true wealth growing. They were looking to put the wealth in a position privately, which is inside of the museum, ladies and gentlemen, creating an endowment with the museum. That's why they're not giving away $1.3 million for no reason. If you want to say it's for a tax reason, well, that's a good reason.
So you see they put away quite a few millions. And once again, it's for what reason? They didn't give it away freely. Otherwise, you wouldn't even hear about the article because it wouldn't matter. Some billionaires in London that are doing some buying projects right now, and that article is, I don't know, doesn't have enough substance. So Bitcoin cash in the big brother and today's 6 billion crypto market pump. There was a 6 billion influx into the crypto market, and this was an article within the past week for sure. 6 billion, ladies and gentlemen, thrown into that market. Crypto's market capitalization today reached 140 billion. 140. So that's how big the market is, ladies and gentlemen. You say, how big is this market? The market of that crypto investment. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not in limited quantities for no reason. So definitely not in limited quantities for no reason. 140 billion is a B, so 140 Bs. That's a great one right there. And so that's pretty much all I have for you all this week, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. And thank you all. So if you all want to reach out for a consultation, Christian@trustchristian.com. And look forward to hearing from you all. Please, once again, check out the survey on the website, which is welcometothevault.com. It's just a quick survey saying if we need to keep doing the show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and on Tuesdays, or maybe just going for a different type of time and switching it up, you know, very flexible and want to cater towards the audience. But I appreciate you all. You got a ton of live listeners right now. Appreciate you all for listening live, actually, and as well everyone listening in the replay. We really appreciate the audience, and so thank you all. Feel free to contact us as well when we talk about even growing a wealth. I know we talk about the partner that we have with Cornell. If you all want to reach out to him, just contact us, Christian@trustchristian. There's a trading webinar that we have. So when everyone talks about growing their wealth, we have a partner relationship with the trader. Institutional trading, meaning trading from a banking position. You know, I hear a lot of traders talking out there, and you know, it's just so interesting. You know, this is the public and the private. Ladies and gentlemen, when you come to the private, when you come to the the private brings the individuals that are private. There are private hedge funds. Most hedge funds, 90+% of them are in trust. All of your 401ks are in trust. Everything's in trust. Why? Because the trust is a contract. So they're all in the contract. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it comes down to individuals being in the right position. So, own nothing, control everything. Private, it's actually a private trading webinar this weekend. Christian@trustchristian can send you over the partners that are doing that, and you all can talk to them and get going. But it is Saturday and Sunday. I'm sure they're not going to be accepting people Saturday day of for payments and things like that. And you know, you all can contact them for the price and things like that. I know it's about $300, and guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's actually worth $30,000 for one individual. To be completely honest, it's worth $30K. Like, just to be completely honest. But for purposes of just because the relationship we have with the partner, just saying, hey, look, you know, there's a pay to cost entry for everything, ladies and gentlemen, and that's just an important position to say, hey, you know, I need lunch money real quick. You know, it's not really one of those things outside of that, but it is lunch money. And I would say, ladies and gentlemen, don't underestimate the partners that we present. I can tell you that, at least this one in particular, because you know they have the track record. You know, the track record. You can say, well, what has he done, ladies and gentlemen? When you're, you know, I was laughing with the trading partner the other day. I said, you know, when you were trading the guys from Harvard and Yale, you know, what was their reaction? I was like, what if they said to you, this is bogus, man, this sucks, this doesn't work? He was like, nah, they didn't say that. He was like, really? They was like, I never seen it before. And I was just like, do you understand the gym? And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now, ego is the reason why people lose in business, because I have that relationship and I use that relationship, and that relationship is valuable. Ladies and gentlemen, your 401ks are being traded by someone like this guy. I promise you. They're private traders. They know certain things that they say that people go to school for 4 years to pay $60 to $80 to $100,000 for education, and they do not have it. That's a gem. And so I'm so excited to even have that relationship. I know he feels the same way exact about the vault and me, because it's like, man, this is the private stuff, you know. This is the private stuff. It's not on the internet. People contact the vault. They say, oh, you know, my family has a trust. I'm gonna just learn trusteeship on my own. Ladies and gentlemen, are you about to put that work in the law library? How about you email the vault every now and then and say, hey, I've been in the law library? Because that's what it takes. It takes assembling a team of a lawyer and an accountant and other members. And this is one of the other members of the vault. This is, when you all think of big businesses, they have teams. They have they have the chief financial officer, they have the chief executive officer, CEO, they have the chief marketing officer, they have the chief whatever. They have a bunch of chiefs. See, this is where we get into life now, where the vault would like to do more episodes on leadership development, because that's what it's about. Ladies and gentlemen, the vault is proud of his coaching tree. People say, what is the failure rate? I tell people all the time, the vault has 100% success ratio. 100%. Everybody gets what they pay for. Wow. Everybody. 100% success ratio. Success rate. The private lifestyle only attracts the best. The private, it is nothing else. Cameron, I'll just let you know that if you're still alive, that you contact trustee training. You say you have a living trust, that's a revocable trust, that's a public trust. So now your focus is building public instead of private. And it sounds great, but then you're asking a private company, the vault, how can I find my trust? There you go. I would tell you, on the public side, get a job. But on the private side, that's when you learn, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm so excited to be mentored by Robert Kiyosaki since the age of 18. And he always says, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and an investor. And I've so learned that lesson. The vault has so learned that lesson. An entrepreneur is like a plumber, a doctor, a lawyer that doesn't have a practice where they have even more partners and then understudy lawyers. We're talking about a sole lawyer, a doctor, an electrician, a dentist, somebody that does tailoring. Any entrepreneur that's there, if you're not there, the business is not making money. That's an entrepreneur. An investor, multiple investments are going on. Multiple businesses. You might wear multiple hats. You might sit on multiple boards. And it's an amazing journey. But to see that diversification and mentality, that's the difference. So, thank you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Bomo said they give what they pay for and then some. Here we go. In the public, you're told to abate responsibility. Why? Because in the public, it's all about debt. It's all about absconding debt. So in the private, it's focused on being what? Here we go. Here's the word. Responsible. It's responsible. So you go into the private, it's a different type of mentality. That's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. There's still accounting, record keeping, all of those things are done. So, but I got sidetracked. But point being is still growing the assets. And so the trading webinar, if you guys want to be a part of that, get more details, Christian@trustchristian.com, and you all can just it will forward you over to the contact. And ladies and gentlemen, we understand that this is trusted relationships. A lot of people listen to the vault, so we don't expect 3 million people to be on the webinar. That's just not going to happen. Why? It's just not. We're okay with that, ladies and gentlemen. The few have changed the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a call for individuals that someone just typed into the chat, an accredited investor. Yes, accredited investor mentality. Do you know what accredited investor means? That means you're making $250,000 a year consecutively for 3 years in a row, or you have a minimum of $1 million in assets outside your house. And that's the minimum, a cursory overview of the actual definition of an accredited investor. We can go to what's a qualified investor, ladies and gentlemen, or a sophisticated investor. These are actual financial terms that, yes, you can be qualified or disqualified by how much money you make. So there's a specific individual that specifically wants to engage with this style of information, specifically private $250,000. Are you thinking about making $250,000 a year with some type of venture? It's that simple. Minimum, ladies and gentlemen. Look, that's when you get to the private side of the bank. Because that's when the money's not insured anymore. You know how at the banks now they have the $250,000 insurance? Yeah, once you get to that side, you move to a different type of conversation with the bank. Until then, you're on the public side. Insured money. Insured money, ladies and gentlemen. But once you get to that other side, there's called a private side. Accredited. That's to keep individuals locked out of financial information. That's what it's called. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the names for investors can be called many different things. Alrighty. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see any questions in the chat. I do appreciate the chat and everyone live. Okay, I see there's a ton of people on, so that really made me just want to stay on a little bit longer. I only have a certain time with you, so that's why I really want to always get back to asking you all to do. Please go to the website welcometothevault.com and actually do the survey, please, or check your email if you're not on the email list, or you can get on the email list. Do welcome to the vault. We really just want to have a survey on should we even do it an hour later on the East Coast, or just doing crowdsource for information. We've been doing Tuesday at 8 o'clock for 2 years, even longer with the stream. So just really excited and always appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in live. Once again, the webinar is going to be this weekend. I don't think that they're going to wait till last minute. I know there's a ton of listeners that listen frequently and they wanted to do it. And please feel free to go to the website and fill out the actual survey. And as well, we'll be doing blogs so you guys can see more written material on the actual website. Going to be bringing that out, bringing some content next week. Really excited about the update. Team is be able to put that stuff together, so really excited about that. But appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening in a replay, and thank you all so much. Peace and blessings. Have a great week.